Hello, everyone, and welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started. So, as we do every Wednesday, let's talk about the College Football Playoff Committee rankings from yesterday. So 1 through 5 stayed the same, and that's fine with me for now. We'll see how the championship weekend goes. Um, Number 6 is Iowa State, which I already said last week that was a fan of them, that they continue to jump up and move up. But it is what it is, and if Iowa State could win the Big 12 and Clemson loses, then that opens the door for Big 12 to get in. It'll be an interesting conversation to see who would get in between a two-loss Iowa State Big 12 champion and a non-champion in Texas A&M with one loss. But anyways, so Florida at 7. I have some beef with that one. They lost to LSU. It was 3-5. I mean, not that bad, but not great either. But the thing though is that they were at home. It's not like they were in Death Valley. They were at home and favored by 23 points. Now I know Kyle Pitts was out for Florida, and that's a big piece to their offense. I know that. But other than that, you had no excuse whatsoever. They should not have only dropped one spot. Now I'm not gonna say dropped them out of the top 10 altogether, dropped them 8 spots. Like Miami did, but it's just like you gotta. It's like you can't just drop one spot. That just shows the total SEC bias with the committee. That's annoying. Yeah, I know that. I'm not going to deny that the SEC is the best conference. I know it is. But stop showing bias with them. It's annoying. Like, give respect to other teams where it's due. Um, Georgia's at 8, fine with me. They've been playing really well. JT Daniels, quarterback. Cincinnati drops to 9th, and I feel bad for them. But this just shows, like I kind of said last week, that a G5 team's never going to make the playoffs. Like, expect 7th and 8th as a ceiling for them. Like, don't even make it. They're not even going to get top 6. Just expect 7 or 8th as a ceiling for the G5 team until the playoffs expand. Oklahoma 10 fine, Indiana 11 fine, Coastal Carolina moves up 1 spot to 12. Now this is interesting because you remember how I talked about back when BYU was undefeated. I talked about their scenario to creep up to 2 years 6 bowl spot for an at-large bid. Well, Coastal Carolina can actually do it as well. Now it's not going to be easy, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to jump Indiana or not. But Oklahoma is going to play a game. Oh, if Oklahoma loses and has 3 losses, I mean, I would assume they drop below Coastal Carolina, and then also Florida, assuming they lose in the SEC championship game. If Florida loses, they might not drop as much because that's a big drop from like 7th to 13th. But you never know. 3 losses, they could bounce both of them behind Coastal Carolina. If Coastal Carolina can move up to 10th, then they're in business to get in that large spot, which would be interesting because the Group of Five has obviously never gotten that large spot. They just got the G5 bid, but it'll be interesting to see if that happens. I doubt it, but it'll be fun. USC 13 is interesting. As an undefeated P5 team, you can make the case that they should be higher. But when you look at their schedule, strength of record, their best one was against a 2-2 Utah team or a 3-3 UCLA team, so just a 500 level team. So that's why they're not in the top 10. Even with a win and plus, like they're not demolishing opponents. They beat Arizona by like a field goal, and Arizona is the worst Pac-12 team. So yeah. So even with the Pac-12 title win, I mean, if they beat Oregon is just again like you said a 3-3 team, so it's like not gonna do them any good there. I mean, they should be in the New Year's Six bowl game, but nothing more. Northwestern 14 fine, North Carolina 15 is fine because it went to Miami. Iowa 16 fine, BYU 17 is fine. Although, like, I mean, you can make the case that BYU should be tiny bit higher. Like, Iowa has no top 25 wins, and neither does Northwestern if they lose to Ohio State. So, I mean, you can make the case it should be like 14, but well. Miami's now at 18 as they drop 8 spots back. I'm fine with that. That's enough punishment there for their beatdown. Louisiana is next at 19, and in fact, you can make the case Louisiana should be higher, but I mean, there's some Bell championship game with kind of knock things out there. Texas at 20 fine, Oklahoma State 21 fine, NC State 22 fine, Tulsa 23 fine. I mean, if Tulsa could beat Cincinnati, then they get to be inside 20. If not, now I feel like they should be out. San Jose State makes an appearance at 24. I'm actually fine with that. I mean, I feel like one Mountain West team should be in the top 25. Usually it's just Boise State, but with the undefeated San Jose State, I could see more of the appeal to put them in over a one-loss Boise State team. Um, Now, what's interesting is I feel like the winner of the Mountain West, so obviously if San Jose State wins the Mountain West Conference, and they get to stay right. But if Boise State wins, despite the ones, I feel like they should replace San Jose State in the rankings there. Then Colorado stays in despite the loss at 25th, which again I'm fine with. I mean, you're comparing one loss Pac-12 team versus a four-loss SEC team or something like that, or a Big 12 team. So I understand keeping Colorado in despite one loss. Um, so now here are a couple teams that could make an appearance in the final top 25 rankings that come out Sunday. I just mentioned if Boise State wins the Mountain West, they should replace San Jose State and be in. Another option is to look out for undefeated Buffalo. If they win the MAC, then they're 6-0. They won the MAC, and they've demolished mostly everyone that they played. And they have a low-key Heisman person in their running back. So like, they can definitely make it top 25 rates. I feel like they deserve it, but we'll see if they get it or not because it's the MAC, and they started late. Um, and then if it's not Buffalo and it's not Boise State, then the only other thing I could see is if Oregon upsets USC in the Pac-12 championship game, then Oregon with a 4-2 record would sneak in at 25. Now, this is all three of those scenarios are dependent that Tulsa loses, because if Tulsa wins, then yeah, Boise State beats NC, they can flip flop there. But like Buffalo's not going to get in, or Oregon's not going to get if Tulsa upsets Cincinnati. So that's all dependent on if Cincinnati loses, which I think they will. So if it's not any of those three teams I mentioned, Boise State, Buffalo, Oregon, I'll be pretty shocked. Okay, so now let's go over my top 10 NFL teams for this weekend. Number 1, we got Kansas City, of course. I mean, even in a bad game, they find ways to win it, and they just look super impressive. It's going to be hard to beat them. Like I said, you should just give them a trophy. 2, I got Buffalo. Like, I'm just very impressed with what I've seen from Buffalo. Recently, they're playing at elite level right now. 3, I got Green Bay because they've been playing well as of recently, especially on offense. 4, New Orleans. They don't drop that far off. In my opinion, now if they lose to the Chiefs, then they will drop down a little bit more. But I feel like New Orleans can, if they can beat the Chiefs, and they should be number 1. But they definitely have room for improvement after they got humbled against Philly. We'll see what happens there. 5, I got the LA Rams, and 4, their defense is just so elite, and as long as Goff plays well, they're a hard team to stop. And they play the Jets this week, so that's another bye week for them, basically. 6, I got Seattle at 9-4. Now I know they lost to the Giants 2 weeks ago. That's at home considered a bad loss, but I mean, other than their offensive line being bad, they upgrade their defense, and they're good at mostly every other position. I feel like they can make a run. Pittsburgh is 7 with 11-2. I mean, Pittsburgh will play. I forgot who they play. They play Cincinnati this week, so they'll finally get a break and get a win. But after that, it'll be interesting to see what happens against when they play the Colts and the Browns, stuff like that. 8, I got Baltimore, despite having 5 losses, 8-5, just because I really like the direction that they're going, what they've done recently. Because you have to keep in mind, one of those 5 losses was with COVID and stuff like that. So basically, they have 4 losses, and I think they're pretty good. And they're going on the right track. 9, I got Cleveland. I feel like despite the loss to Baltimore, they shouldn't be penalized for that. They just scored 42. They scored enough to win. They did a pretty good job. I feel like they're still a pretty good team. And then 10, I got Tennessee at 9-4 as well, because Cleveland got the head there. And Tennessee, I love their run game. Again, their defense is inconsistent, so as long as their defense plays well, then the team can play well. And then there's, of course, other options like Tampa Bay at 8-5 and Indianapolis at 9-4, stuff like that. But these are my top 10s. Again, 1, Kansas City, 2, Green Bay, 3, New Orleans, 4, Buffalo, 5, LA Rams, 6, Seattle, 7, Pittsburgh, 8, Baltimore, 9, Cleveland, and 10, Tennessee. So tomorrow I'll be going over my picks for the NFL games and top 5 college and then my top college football games of the week for the last time there. It was pretty interesting. And then on Friday, I'm gonna give my final bowl projections before the bowls are officially announced and stuff on Sunday. And then next week on Monday, I'll give my bowl predictions once the actual comes out. But yeah, I'm almost done with my bowl projections. I'll have them out Friday. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Please subscribe to my channel and tell everyone about me. Thank you very much. Y'all have a wonderful day.